So everybody knows you're not supposed to copy images off the internet for your own use. At least I hope everybody knows that. I still work with people that think, oh, well, I just saw it on Google Image Search. That means I can use it, right? That's where I found it. So it's free. I managed to grab it, so I can use it, right? No, you can't use it. Even if it doesn't have a C with a circle around it, it's just an image you found, it's copyrighted. And by law, anything that is created is copyrighted for a very long time. And I know a lot of people think, well, the internet's really big, and the page that I'm putting it on, nobody's going to find that anyway. Unfortunately, yes, they will. And you will be found sooner or later, and the penalties are very stiff. The software that's being used nowadays can find images very easily. It's the pixel relation. There's also metadata attached to images. There's lots of things that computers can do now. If a creative person pays a small fee, they control the internet and find that image, and you can be responsible for it. So all of that is outlined in the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, enacted in 1998, and you can look it up on Wikipedia and read about it if you want to, but that's basically it. So, okay, so can I use this image? The current fair use image copyright law states that you're financially liable for posting copyrighted images even if you did it by accident, then you didn't know about it. Well, everybody can claim that, right? You immediately take it down after receiving the DMCA notice. So that's a notice that you're given saying, hey, take it down right away. So you can be liable. So, well, if you do get something like that, definitely take it down right away. The picture is resized. So sometimes people think, well, if I modify it, change the color a little bit, it's okay, right? No, it's still their intellectual property. If the picture is licensed to your web developer, so listen up, web developers. If you buy an image, it doesn't mean that you can use it for every single one of your clients. So if you put that image in one of the mock-ups that you do for a client and they like it, make sure they buy the license. Because even if they get in trouble, they're not going to want to do business with you again if you didn't do things the proper way. So Getty Images requires everyone to get a license for that photo. So make sure you do that. The link back to the photo source, and you cite the photographer's name. So you think, hey, I said who's doing it. I give credit where credit is due, right? No, not unless they specifically said, oh yeah, you can use my image, but please put my name underneath the image. Only if they actually say that and you have that in writing can you cover your behindy. So your site isn't commercial and you make no money from your blog. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you only have a couple people that see your blog. You can, one of those people might be the creator of that content. So make sure that, yeah, it's not copyrighted. So even if you don't make money from it, yes, you can be liable. Sometimes it's not as much, but I've read some cases where, yeah, even if you're just like telling people how to grow mushrooms in your own backyard and it's purely educational, yes, you can be liable. You have a disclaimer on your site. Yeah, won't work. The pic is embedded instead of actually saved on your server. So in other words, you might have a link to that image and it's just referencing that image on another site. It doesn't matter, you're still benefiting from the display of that image. And lastly, you found it on the internet. No excuse, obviously. They've heard that before. What's the fine? A minimum of $8,000, even if only 100 people read your post. Up to $150,000. Now, if the court considers it a willful act, meaning that you knew about it, you did it, you're in trouble now. Now, if you honestly were so stupid you did not know this, even with as much information out there as there is, and they managed to prove that, then they can lower it down to $200. So I'm sure you've seen this image before. It was kind of a pretty popular guy. And this image was in 2009 during the Obama campaign, and it was created by somebody named Shepard Fairey. And he created a stencil portrait out of an image by an Associated Press photographer named Manny Garcia, who claimed that this was their photograph. And he denied it. So then it was there was a lawsuit back and forth, and they kind of settled out of court for kind of a confidential amount of money. And then later in 2012, it was found out that he actually tried to destroy documents and fabricate other documents that showed that he somehow had the allowance to use this photograph, because he tried to say that it wasn't his photo. I mean, it wasn't their photo, but it's very similar, as you can see. Yeah, it's pretty close if you line it up. So yes, it was a photograph used in a newspaper, but it was not licensed to him to use, and so he had to pay for it. 2 years of probation, 300 hours of community service, and a fine of $25,000. Now, he made a lot of money off this image when it was used in all kinds of, t-shirts and posters and things like that. So it might have come out ahead, but I still consider it kind of a pain to have to deal with such a thing. So, yep, there's consequences. So, as I said, it doesn't matter if it has that C with a circle around it. All original work is protected under the copyright. It's a good idea to put that on there to kind of just remind people that are kind of forgetting about it. But yes, it is copyrighted to you unless you specifically put the CC logo on it, which is the Creative Commons logo. So work can be used without permission, but only under certain circumstances. So there are rules, like it can't be on, say, a pornography website if they so, say that in their rules. So look for that. And at the end of this video, I'll include a link that has a link to a lot of Creative Commons websites and places where you can find them, because there's a lot out there that you can use. But also stock imagery is also pretty cheap. So there's a lot of, you don't have to steal stuff. The best of all is to find a public domain image that you'd want to use, but unfortunately, copyright lasts for a pretty long time. So work published prior to 1923, yeah, you can use that. So if you're doing a historical document, then maybe you don't have to. You'll find a lot of that on Wikipedia, and all of that is Creative Commons usage. So here's the link, echapman@altervista.com. And I'll include a link to the bot underneath the video for this. But if you go there, you can see I have just a little link to what the Creative Commons is. And you can read about that if you want. But if you scroll down, I also talk about various different image files and what they are. But up above, if you expand this, it has all these different sites that I've listed. Archive.org, Barn Images, Clicker, Creative Commons. You can search all across Flickr. You can search through various different, like the Google Web image search. And this is different from the regular Google Web image search because it's ones that have actually been designated CC, because a creative person actually has to say, I want to make this a Creative Commons image. So they have to physically say it. It's not assumed. In this list, though, there is there's two. I'll show you two that I like to use for photography, and that is Pixabay. That's one I like to use a lot, and I'll go there. You're not seeing my whole screen here, but say here they have pictures of clouds in the background. If you scroll down, they have some featured images. As you can see, there's some pretty nice stuff on here, but I'm just gonna say clouds. And here's some imagery, pretty dramatic looking imagery. Click on this one. And if I scroll over here on the side, we can see that here's the Creative Commons. Free for commercial use, no attribution required, and you can download it. Now, let me go back here at the beginning. You can see this is how Pixabay makes their money. These are images that are free from people just like you and me that upload it. But at the top, they'll first return images that are by Shutterstock, because Shutterstock gets money from people that come from there. Of course, they say, oh, that's more the image that I want to use, instead of something down there. So that's how Pixabay makes their money. Another one I like is Unsplash. I just recently learned about that one. Beautiful images, and it has a similar layout. If I'll search again for clouds, and I'll get a bunch of different looking images. All of these are a Creative Commons, and you can just download it for free. Over here, you can see download for free. To go back, let me go back to the home page. You can see what it says about itself. Beautiful free photos gifted by the world's most generous community photographers. And scrolling down here, you can see that here's the license, and it says all photos published to Unsplash can be used for free. You can use them for commercial or non-commercial purposes. You do not need to ask permission from them. But so more precisely though, it would be nice to give them credit. So you don't have to, but photographers upload this stuff because they want people to see their work. So it's just a matter of courtesy. When you can, try to give credit back to the original. So there you have it in a nutshell. There's plenty of free stuff out there to use. You don't need to steal somebody else's work. So yeah, good luck, and I'll include a link at the bottom of the video.